Hello friends, I, Professor Dr. Gautam Shahuraje Jadhav, working as an Assistant Director of Physical Education and Sports at Anekant Education Society's Tulzaram Chaturchand College, Baramati. Our college is Autonomous College. I welcome you all for this international webinar. Due to this COVID-19 and lockdown, each and every sector is suffered a lot. Our sports field also suffered a lot. We are trying to find out the solutions, and that's why we are organizing the webinar on the topic Post-COVID Era Sports in New Dimensions. The webinar is scheduled for 2 days on 6th and 7th July 2020. Now I would like to call and request our principal Dr. Chandrasekhar Murumkar sir for the introductory part of this webinar.
Welcome friends. It's my pleasure that Tulzaram Chaturchand College, Baramati, India and the Savitribai Phule Pune University jointly organizing an international webinar on an international sports event, post-COVID era, sports in new dimensions. Dear friends, we all know that the impact of COVID-19 has changed the world, and this is the world which has been changed not only physically but it has changed mentally, socially and economically. Dear friends, I do know that the fellow participants, the resource persons and the common man who is associated with the whole world is eagerly waiting for the new normal. Obviously, this new normal will be coming up to us with new rules, new regulations and new aspects which have never been thought of. Indeed, the sports is an integral part of the lifestyle of the youth from India and abroad. Taking into consideration the impact of COVID on the social life and personal life, we felt that it would be worthwhile to see and hear what the world is thinking, what the sports world is going ahead with, the ideas, the concepts and the very essential environment related with the sports in coming days. To begin with, we have thought that the sports in new dimensions will be a sort of a roadmap for coming days. Particularly in this seminar, we have added several themes like changed concepts of regular practice, changed form and format of the outdoor games, sports and finance, indoor games in the new format, health and fitness issues, use of digital gadgets, safety measures in the sports and ultimately the psychological challenges to the sports persons and viewers as well. Dear friends, I am very much happy that the Vice Chancellor Dr. Nitin Kalmarkar has taken an innovative initiative to organize this seminar, and at the same time I am very much happy with Dr. Deepak Mane, who is the Director of Board of Sports, Savitribai Phule Pune University, who has taken a lead to organize this seminar. This seminar is definitely going to give us a new impetus not only in the sports but in the attitude and approach for each and everyone who is associated with the sports. I am very much happy that the giant personalities in the sports, they are getting associated in this seminar. Some of them to name Mrs. Penny Kebench. She is the Vice President of Federation of International Sports, Uganda. Mr. Benik Vellu, President of Albanian Sports University Federation, Albania. Mr. Marco Garcia, a renowned football coach from Chile. Ms. Lalita Baba, the ex-Olympian, India. Ms. Kelly Delia, she is the Technical Director of Albanian Sports University, Albania, Mr. Cochin Paul, a Uganda senior pro coach of Niger University member, UOE. I'm very much happy to welcome Ms. Aarti Pal, who is an international yoga instructor from Savitribai Phule Pune University, and Dr. Suman Pandey, who is the lecturer physical education, Savitribai Phule Pune University. I'm very much sure that this 2-day webinar will be giving us the new views, ideas, concepts, and pathways which will form a benchmark in coming days in the world of sports. Not only that, we are going to listen to these renowned personalities from the sports, but at the same time, I'm very much happy that this particular webinar is going to get us a new model of a very quality research articles which have been presented by eminent personalities all over the world. I'm very much happy that the sports world will definitely encourage and congratulate this particular event with their personal individual participation, and not only participation but active involvement in this activity. Dear friends, I feel that sports is an issue which is closely associated with each and everyone's personal life as well as social life, and because of that we are much more interested in finding out the new ways, new rules and new regulations which are going to make a line much more clear in the sports world in coming days. And so that I'm happy once again to welcome you all in the TC College sports environment. Dear fellows, let me introduce something about the TC College at the end. The TC College, a renowned institution in the faculty of higher education, almost in last 60 years. This college is the recipient of the Best College Award. At the moment, the college is the autonomous college running its own undergraduate and postgraduate courses. This college is having a very high repute of sports activity in last almost 40 years, and definitely a large number of sports personalities have been bagged from this college at the national level. At the same time, the college is the recipient from the various projects of DST, DBT, UGC and many other national and international agencies related with the higher education. When we are gathering together, I must congratulate Dr. Gautam Jadhav, who is the organizing secretary, and his team for making this webinar, which has been carved very neatly and which will be a great success in coming days. I feel that this particular webinar will be a milestone in coming days for the roadmap of sports. I welcome you all, dear fellow participants, the resource persons and those all who are associated with this particular webinar, either in the form of a participation, either in form of a resource personality, or they are associated in the form of mentorship, submitting their valuable original research articles. And wish you all the best of luck. Have a great day, stay safe and work safe together. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your wishes. Friends, now I would like to call upon our first guest lecturer, Ms. Penina Aligavesa Kabenge. She is Vice President, Federation of International University Sports. She is also Vice President at Association of Africa Sports Confederation. She is a Vice President of International Rollerball Federation. She is Secretary General, Federation of Africa University Sports. She is working as a President, University Sports Uganda, and she is Head Sports and Recreation, Makerere University, Uganda. Ma'am, you are welcome for your lecture.
A good day to all of you who are joining us today at this international seminar. You're most welcome. but I'm also privileged to be part of this event. And I want to thank the organizing committee for the invitation extended to me to be part of this enriching event. My names are Penina Alikawesa Kabenge. I'm from Uganda, and I'm the president of the Uganda University Sports Federation. But I'm also the Vice President of the Federation of International University Sports, Secretary General Africa University Sports, and I'm Vice President International Rollball Federation, and I am the head of Sports and Recreation Department at Makerere University, one of the biggest universities in Uganda. It's really a great honor to be part of this event this morning. Thank you so much for the invitation, and I believe that together we can come out stronger when we have such events that enrich and help us move forward in this post-COVID era. There are global realities we are facing because of COVID-19. There are high mortality rates, which have happened. Most of the countries have been affected highly, people dying every day. This is a reality which we have to live with. There have been disruption of social and economic activities where people have been locked down. You cannot even go to your favorite joint, or people have been forced not to work. These are realities. Social inequities, ideological fault lines, systematic failures, economic risks, geopolitical tension, distrust between governments and citizens. These are the realities that have happened. There is uncertainty and fake news. I believe we've all seen these uncertainties. We don't know if tomorrow or the other day or next year or years to come, the situation will be different. These are the global realities of COVID-19, which we have to face. COVID-19 is a global health pandemic that is here to stay. It has also upended the sporting calendar, with professional leagues everywhere suspending their activities to limit the spread of the virus. Even the Summer Olympics, typically one of the world's most watched sporting events, is postponed to 2021 in order to safeguard the health of athletes and others involved. And we pray that 2021 would be different from now so that we can enjoy the Summer Olympic Games. The Federation of International University Sports, where I come from, has suspended all the championships this year because of what is going on. You can imagine where people had prepared, invested a lot, and you have to call off the event. Our first championship, which was the cross-country championship, World University Cross Country Championship, was called off a week to the event. People had bought tickets, people had prepared, they were ready to participate in this event. And lo, what happened? It's called off because of COVID. In Africa University Sports, we were supposed to have our mega games this July in Nairobi, Kenya. But we couldn't. They were called off. Actually, we've even pushed them to 2022 because 2021 was already packed with other programs. And this is a strong message that is coming to us, that the interruption in competition is going to be long. The long period of inactivity due to the forced quarantine is seriously impacting sports, and we must address the repercussions of COVID-19 and the strategies that can overcome this situation. I'm happy we are here today addressing these repercussions. and looking at the strategies on how to overcome this situation. It's a time to rethink before sports retake the central role it has in many people's lives once the pandemic is over. So the ball is in our court. We need to find solutions to this situation. Many people have been deprived of their injection of happiness sports offers. Are we prepared? Are we prepared for the situation? Whether the answer is an emphatic yes or maybe, it will depend on how we face four fundamental aspects of this inactivity. There are four fundamental aspects of this inactivity, and we need to face them, and it will depend on how we face them that we will be able to answer that question if we are prepared. There is the players training and fitness, managing closed stadiums, mitigating economic losses, media and fan engagement. Once we get ready for those, then we can say we are ready. Players training and fitness. The athletes cannot train normally, as we all know. They are psychologically affected because of the confinement. They are stressed because of feeling unfit and are fatigued due to undergoing routine training sessions in confinement. It's not fun for the athletes. They are not fit. It's difficult when you are confined. So they are really confined physically, psychologically. So we really need to address that fundamental principle. Professional athletes are under pressure to stay fit at home and risk losing sponsorship deals. Appropriate management of these fears and how to address them first will reinforce resilience, using the quarantine as one more mental training exercise to adapt to extreme situations. Personally, I believe in blessings in disguise. Whatever is happening may be a blessing in disguise. So our athletes must really use this quarantine as one of those mental training exercises to adapt to extremes. The return to play may not be as different as that after the off season. We have to deal with the unusual situation and devise new strategies. Managing closed sporting facilities is the other fundamental issues that we need to address. Teams from all over the world have lost revenue from their tours, shops, museum, and ticket sales. We all know this. Players are psychologically affected by playing closed door matches without the morale of the fans. There's a way, if you ever played, when people cheer you, you even feel stronger and perform even better. Sports fans are also missing on relaxation, entertainment, and fun. The biggest blow is the facility managers that must continue to maintain these facilities without any revenue. Honestly, at my university, we are maintaining these facilities, they're not being used. It's a big blow. We have to spend. We have to treat the water in the swimming pool. We have to be cleaning the gyms every day, clean the stadiums. And yet there is nothing coming in to offset the expenses we invest. Uh, look at the look at those empty stands. This is not how sports events should look. No, that's not how the sports events were designed to look. It's unfortunate it's happening, but that's where athletes play on empty stadium, empty stands. It's not fun. The economic losses. Sport is a major contributor to economic and social development. The global value of the sports industry is estimated at 756 billion US dollars annually. Millions of jobs are at risk globally, not only for sports professionals, but also for those in related retail and sporting service industries connected with leagues and events, which include travel, tourism, infrastructure, transportation, catering, media broadcasting, among others. Beside elite athletes are the coaching staff, whose role is fundamental for the development of the players, and they've had their economic survival curtailed by the lockdown. The sporting events post-COVID-19 is expected to be a lot leaner and efficient from a sponsor perspective. In addition to economic repercussions, the cancellation of games has impacted many social benefits of global and regional sports events and stakeholders. I talked about the championships we cancelled in university sports. Countries, hosts, organizing committee had prepared. They had invested heavily in these events. And what happens? People cannot participate because of COVID. When you look at this chart, they'll show you the global revenue of sports industry. The collective power of leagues to sell media rights is incredible. The NBA's current TV deal is worth 24 billion over 9 years. What happens in this situation, in the current situation? The English Premier League agreed a new deal with broadcasters last year, equivalent to 12 billion over 3 years. The Major League Baseball has a 7-year media arrangement worth over 5 billion. With this interruption of COVID-19 in activities, what happens to this income? Media and fan engagement. Media plays a big role in engaging fans globally with sports events. For example, an estimated 3.9 billion viewers watched the London 2012 Olympic Games. Sports media is currently redundant as there are no sporting events to cover. Sports commentators barely have matches to cover. A limited number of journalists are allowed into the few sports events taking place due to the standard operating procedures. There is scanty sports news to report, and most print media and sports shows are recycling old stories. Some media houses have been forced into downsizing their personnel, leading to job losses of some sports journalists. It's not a good situation, but what to do? We have to face it. We have to take the bull by the horn. That is what is happening. There is uncertainty and fake news. We are asking ourselves, when will the pandemic end? We are uncertain. Are the mortality rates genuine or doctored? Some countries have been seriously affected, others minimally affected. Uganda, we've had so far we have 840 cases. 808 have been discharged. No death. I don't know if it's genuine or not, but those are the uncertainties. They say if COVID was around, probably we would have more cases because of what is happening. Will the preventive measures put in place stay as part of our lives or a temporary inconvenience? Are the social media stories from different parts of the world real? Will sports ever recover its human touch? Are there any pandemics in waiting? Any other pandemics in waiting after COVID-19? Can there be infection without death, as mentioned in some countries, or is it misreporting? Those are pictures of the media in empty stadiums writing about things that are not even happening, the different ways media and fans are affected. You can see for yourself. Recommended steps to manage situation. Now, this is my personal view that the post-COVID-19 time is expected to define new normalcy, which in turn will have a telling effect on all aspects of business, including sports. So we need to develop a business continuity plan. A business continuity plan is a preventive, responsive, and adaptive solution to a disruptive and disastrous situation. Its ultimate goal is to secure institutional operation, obligations, and reputation. In this business continuity plan, we need to review the training programs so that they can fit in the post-COVID era. We need to build a virtual infrastructure to provide for online training management solutions. We need refresher training and equipping trainers with adequate teaching tools, smart device, and knowledge. We need to frequently access and evaluate strategies. We have to take steps. This continuity plan. Step 1, we have to be innovative. Diversify the training program. How? I don't know, but we have to do that. Step 2, we need to build a virtual infrastructure to provide for online training management solutions. It's not going to be easy, but we have to do it. There are places in the world that are very remote. They don't have access even to electricity, no Wi-Fi, where things are difficult. But we have to find solutions because it may be the only way out. Step 3B, we have to take our personnel for pre and in-service training so that they can adapt to the new normalcy. We have to equip this personnel with right tools to aid modern training. It's important that we invest in training of these personnel. Step 3B, we need to partner with corporate institutions to develop. We have to partner with corporate institutions to develop smart gadgets, user-friendly for athletes. These corporate sponsors or institutions should facilitate the virtual infrastructure. We need collaboration with health experts in COVID-19 management in sports events. Involving athletes as key messenger communicators is paramount. Developing event-specific standard operating procedures and sharing of data across board should be given priority. Agree on planned re-entry of funds into the sporting arenas. Design mechanism to handle mental health challenges of COVID-19. We have to find ways of, because most of the athletes seriously have been affected and they need to be assisted on how to handle the mental. Periodic strategy evaluation. We have to periodically evaluate our strategy with a strategy evaluation framework examining the underlying basis of strategy, comparing expected results with actual results, taking corrective action to ensure that performance conforms to plan. It's an important step that we need to take as we develop our business plan. We have challenges, and the suggestions I've given are dependent on resources and capabilities, among other things. That's resources, capabilities. While digital platforms have enormous benefits for delivering sports programs, they are particularly difficult for delivering hands-on learning activities that are naturally meant for enactment in laboratories, gymnasiums, dance studios, swimming pools, outdoor and playground experience. So that's a challenge we have to face. Given that some sports contents and activities are transferable to online formats, athletes, coaches, and all involved need to explore and invest resources in digital conferencing tools to enable fast and uninterrupted access to learning platforms. In conclusion, COVID-19 pandemic has had and will continue to have very considerable effects on the sporting world, as well as the physical and mental well-being of people around the world. The recommendations provided seek to both support the safe reopening of sports events and tournaments following the pandemic, as well as to maximize the benefit that sports and physical activity can bring in the age of COVID-19 and beyond. And to achieve that, we have elections together. We need to be together. We are in this thing together, and we have to come out stronger together. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your views on COVID-19. Our next resource person is from the buzzing field of yoga. I welcome Ms. Aarti Pal. She is international player of yoga and a coach also. She is secretary Yoga and Sports Welfare Association. She is medalist for 26 nationals and 6 international. She is awarded as Miss Yogini of the World 2010. She is also awarded as Yogini of India in 2007, and she is awarded as Yoga Princess in 2008. I welcome you, ma'am, for the lecture.
My greetings to all those who are listening to me through this digital platform. And today I am going to deliver about yoga practices for physical and mental health. Before coming to my topic, I want to thank the organizing team of Savitribai Phule Pune University and Tulsaram Chaturchand College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Baramati, Professor Dr. Deepak Mane sir, Principal Dr. Chandrasekhar sir, and Dr. Gautam Jadhav sir for facilitating us to get connected on a very good topic, that is the yoga practices for physical and mental health. Friends, whenever we talk about health, it's not restricted to a single aspect. Whenever we talk about health, it has many aspects included in it. And to understand those aspects, we must first listen to the definition of health according to WHO, that is the World Health Organization. Let's see what the World Health Organization says about health. The World Health Organization says about health that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So, not having a disease is not the parameter that you are healthy. It may be a single parameter, but it's not the complete parameter to tell you that you are a completely healthy person. Instead, when we talk about health, one must be physically healthy, one must be mentally healthy. Along with being physically healthy, it is very important to be mentally healthy, and as well as one should be socially healthy. And today, out of these aspects, we are going to focus more on physical and mental health. We must have heard these words, physical health and mental health, but we rarely focus on what these words deeply mean. When I say physical health, one may think that my body is good, I don't have any disease, I'm healthy. Yes, not having any disease may be a parameter again, but it's not complete health, not complete physical health. So when we talk about physical health, let's see what are the different components which are included in physical health. When I talk about physical health, or when we talk about physical health, the first thing is definitely that there should be absence of disease. Because if you are having any disease, it may be any kind of disease. It may be a lifestyle disorder, it may be a muscular disorder, it may be a skeleton disorder, or any disease. But if you have any disease, you can't enjoy the physical health. So the first component is that you should be physically healthy, that you should not have any disease in your body. Now, apart from diseases, there are some other components also which are important for considering physical health. Let's see what are those other components. This is the cardiovascular endurance. Friends, cardiovascular endurance is the ability to exercise without becoming overly tired. When I talk about without becoming overly tired, it will happen only when you have a healthy heart, when you have healthy lungs, and when you have healthy blood vessels. And this will happen through yoga, and how it will happen through yoga that we are going to see later. So now we have seen that for being physically healthy, one should have good cardiovascular endurance. Now, other than cardiovascular endurance, one should have good muscular strength. And muscular strength refers to the ability of a muscle. It actually refers to the amount of force produced by a muscle in a single effort. And again, the muscular strength can be increased by yoga practices. How, we will see later. Other than muscular strength, it is important for physical health to have muscular endurance also. The muscular endurance is the ability of a muscle or a group of muscle to perform repetitive contractions against a force for an extended period of time. And muscular strength and muscular endurance are moreover related. Muscular strength connects to a single time effort, but muscular endurance connects to a repetitive efforts, and that too for an extended period of time. And these both aspects can be very nicely covered by yoga practices. And the last component that I've mentioned here is flexibility. Flexibility, we all are aware that flexibility is the ability to move a joint into effectively through a complete range of motion. And flexibility can be increased by asanas very well. These were the different components of physical health that we have seen. Now, other than physical health, as we have discussed, that we have to discuss about mental health also. Because if you have a very good physique, but you are not healthy at your mental part, you have a ill mental health, you are under stress, you are under depression, you don't have positive thoughts, then there's no use of that good physique. Because again, for a good body, we have to be sound at our mind also. So let's see what are different components which make us mentally healthy. When we talk about mental health, again, there are some components. Let's see what are those components. Before mentioning these components, I would like to state here that when we talk about mental health, we generally see that if we are not under stress, if we are not under anxiety, if we are not under depression, it means we are physically, mentally healthy. But what are those things, what are those components which will make us which will make us able to be far from this stress, depressions, anxieties? Those are the components which I have mentioned here. These components are, the first thing is that we should have a healthy sense of self. Generally, the most important thing which we should take care of, but it happens that we avoid that one. We always underestimate ourselves. We forget our own identity. And that's why I have mentioned here that the first thing we should have, that we should have a healthy sense of self. Yes, I'm something. We should value ourselves. And whatever conditions, whatever situations I am suffering through, they are just part of my life. One must be aware of his strength, and he must be confident, he must be happy with those strengths. And of course, he should try to increase his strength. Along with that, when it comes to weakness part, then one must be aware that yes, these are my weaknesses, but of course I can address my weaknesses, I can fix those weaknesses, and I can make myself strong, and I can overcome those weaknesses. When one is having a healthy sense of self of this kind, he will never go under stress, he will never go under depression, he will never commit suicide. Along with being a healthy sense of self, one must have a healthy perspective towards himself or herself. See, this is a life, and life is not only about earning money, earning the bread, making the house. Along with these things, there are number of things, number of situations that we have to face in our life. But again, one should have a healthy perspective that these problems are just situations. They are just things which will come and which will go. They are not going to be permanent in my life. Generally, what happens with general people, that whenever they come across with some problem or they are exposed to some problems, immediately their attitude changes. They start seeing negatively. They start thinking that why does it happen with me? Why I always have to suffer with problems? That is not a healthy perspective. Instead, a healthy perspective says, oh, these are the problems, I will overcome them. One or the other day, I'm going to overcome this. These are not permanent in my life. When one has this kind of healthy perspective, then one is definitely going to be mentally very, very strong. And there are concepts, there are philosophies in yoga which make you able to have such principles, to adapt, to inculcate those principles in yourself. And those principles make you very, very strong mentally. Now we have discussed two components. Let's see, the third component is psychological flexibility. Friends, it is very much important to have psychological flexibility. Then only we can adjust with the things, with the situations, with the people around us. If we are stubborn, we are totally of the nature, no, I can't adjust, no, I can't tolerate, no, I can't work in this situation, these kind of stiff mentality options make us rigid. And when we are rigid, then definitely the things are not every time going to change according to our minds. And if we are stiff, then those situations are going to mentally affect us. And again, when we are mentally affected, we are going to come under stress, we are going to come under depression. So one must have psychological flexibility to be mentally healthy. And for making you psychologically flexible, there are the theoretical concepts of yoga. When I will discuss about the yoga, special yoga practices for this physical and mental health, I will mention those practices. Right now, we are focusing on the components. So after psychological flexibility, the fourth component is daily maintenance. Under daily maintenance, we have to do some activities to keep ourselves mentally healthy. See, only uh, having lot of good principles in our mind are not going to make us mentally healthy. We need to incorporate, we need to inculcate those concepts into our nature also. And under daily maintenance, I have mentioned actually here that we must do some activities, we must develop some skill, we should have some humors, we should involve with the people, we should talk, we should enjoy, we should make jokes, we should use humor, and that will keep us mentally cheerful. And when we are cheerful, we see the problems also as a very minute things that are coming into our life, and we also have a positive attitude that I'm going to overcome this. So these are the components which are very much important to make us mentally healthy and to make us be far from stress, depression, anxiety, and many other things are there which are present there to make us mentally ill. So by these practices and how we have to learn these practices through yoga, we will see. And those practices will make you mentally healthy. Now, after discussing the components of physical health and mental health, I'm going to now discuss here the definitions of yoga. We have, before we have discussed about what is physical health, what are the components of physical health, what are the components of mental health, and now we have to see what is yoga and how yoga is going to affect our physical health and our mental health. But before understanding how the procedure of the effectiveness of yoga onto these aspects, we must understand what is yoga, or I should say what is yoga. Friends, yoga is a word which you must have many times listened. And today I will also tell you the meaning and definition of yoga. I'll discuss with you the traditional definition as well as the modern definition. Friends, the traditional definition or the definition which have come from our ancient text, I have mentioned here, and I have mentioned here especially those definitions which are very deep to my heart and very close to my heart, and also which are very much important to make us physically and mentally healthy, especially the mentally health part. The first definition I have mentioned here is Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Friends, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate means to be calm, to be always equal, always equal into all kind of states is yoga. It may be a state of sukha, good happenings. It may be the state of sorrows. It may be the scenario of something, some problems is going in your life. It may be the scenario of when everything is good coming into your life. But in all these situations, you have to be equal. You have to be with the equal mental state. That is the samatvam, means being always equal mental state. That is yoga. And this will help us very much when we suffer with different problems. See, when the good things come to our life, we get very happy we share with everyone, we enjoy. But suddenly, if problems come in our life, we become we become sad. We start feeling, oh, now nothing is there. What will I do? How will I do? All these problems starts coming. But to be equal or to have an equalized state of mind into that situation also is actually yoga. And that state comes by the practice of yoga. Practices we will see later. The another definition I have mentioned here is yogaha karmashu kaushala. All these definitions I have mentioned here, which actually deals with the physical part of a person. I mean to say that I have not mentioned here the definitions which are just conceptual. Rather, I have mentioned here the definitions which you can relate with your life examples. So, yoga is something which is a part of your life, a part of your lifestyle. And this part of lifestyle is not only with the exercises, but this is a part of your lifestyle in every words, in every action, in every thoughts. Yoga is not just a process of physical, but is a process, it's a procedure at your physical level, at your mental level, at your thoughts level. So when I talk about yogaha karmashu kaushalam, it means whatever work you are doing, whatever action you are performing, to perform that action with full involvement, with full skillfulness is yoga. And that is what Lord Krishna had taught to Arjun in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now, after these two definitions, I have defined here a modern definition of yoga. That is, yoga is an art and science of living a healthy life. And again, friends, when we talk about healthy life, it means we should have a physically healthy, we should have health at physical level and also at mental level. I have kept before you a long description of physical health, of mental health, of definition of yoga. And now we have to see that what are those yoga practices which can help us to be physically healthy and to be mentally healthy. Let's see those practices. Whenever we talk about a practical part of yoga, there are different asanas, there are different pranayams available there. But see how those asanas, those pranayams affect you at physical level and at your mental level. Friends, at physical level, by practicing yoga, your flexibility is increased. The flexibility point that we had seen in the components of physical health. So it increases your ability to move your joints in all locations. So the flexibility is increased. Then again, by the practice of yoga or yogasanas, I will say your muscle strength and tone is also improved. Again, your respiration is improved. Your energy level, your vitality level is increased. It helps you to maintain a balanced metabolism. By the practice of yoga, definitely, if you are overweight, it can help you for weight reduction. It also helps you in a good cardio and circulatory health, which will help you to increase your cardiovascular endurance that we discussed in physical health component. Again, it improves the athletic performance. Those who are into sports, it's very much important for them to increase their athletic performance. And again, it actually protects from different injuries. Now, after seeing physical health, let's see how does it affect your mental health. Yes, before mental health, I would like to quote here that the relaxation techniques in yoga, there are different relaxation techniques in yoga which can lessen the chronic pain, which can lessen the chronic pain like lower back pain, arthritis, headaches, and carpal tunnel syndrome. Here I have quoted Dr. Nevins. And also by the practice of yoga, you can lower down the blood pressure and also reduce insomnia. See, there are only some diseases have been mentioned here, but by the practice of yoga, many physical diseases can be overcome. Now, after physical health, we will see how does yoga affect your mental health. When I talk about mental health, by the practice of yoga, one moves from the sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic nervous system. It means one moves from restlessness to rest. The practice of yoga gives you the relaxation at your physical level as well as at your mental level. Then yoga practices helps you to build a healthy sense of yourself. I had discussed in mental health components that you should a healthy sense of self. You should have a positive sense of self. You should have good value for yourself. This can be incorporated by yoga. Then by yoga, you become of your shadow qualities. It means the practice of yoga makes you able to know your inner hidden qualities. It helps you to overcome your weaknesses and to develop the qualities that are already lying within you. It helps you to provoke the internal powers that are lying within you. And there are the procedure of meditation, yoga nidra for those things. Then again by yoga, it helps you to deal with family of origin issues. When we talk about mental health, I told that we talk about stress, depression, anxiety. But what are the roots of those things? Those roots can be overcome by the yoga practices. Now let's see what are those special yoga practices which we have to perform for a good physical health and a good mental health. So as I told you that in practical part of yoga, there are asanas, pranayams, meditation, cleansing processes, and of course the Ashtanga Yoga part, I will say the Yam Niyam Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi is a complete practical aspect of the life. Now let's see what are the special practices we have to perform for physical and mental health, for a sound physical and mental health. One must perform Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar is a group of asanas which is very much beneficial for a sound physical health as well as mental health. Surya Namaskar, Viparita Karani, Matsyasan, Sarvangasan, Bhujangasan, Shashankasan, then Ushtrasan, Paschimottanasana. These are the specific asanas which are very much beneficial for physical and mental health. Now, after these asanas, one must perform Kapalabhati. In yoga, along with asanas and pranayams, some cleansing processes are also mentioned. And what are those cleansing processes? That is a very big topic which we will be listening later. But right now, we have to see that what cleansing process we have to perform. So, we have to perform Kapalabhati. After Kapalbhati, we have to perform some pranayams. And those pranayams are Anulom Vilom Pranayam, Brahmari Pranayam, and Udgita Pranayam. And the last but not the least, one must perform Yoga Nidra and meditation. It's a complete pack of asana, pranayam, relaxation technique, meditation, and cleansing process, which is in itself very much capable to make one physically and mentally healthy. Now you may have questions that how can we practice these asanas? So here I am sharing with you the link of my YouTube channel, which you can go and you can find there the videos of these different asanas. There I have kept a video of guided yoga nidra and guided meditation also. So you can visit my channel and you can definitely take the benefit of these things. I request you to please go through this YouTube channel, Miss Yogini Artipal. There you will find all the videos of these things. So friends, today we all have discussed about the physical health and mental health aspects. What are the components of these mental health and physical health? Then we saw that what is yoga and how yoga can affect your physical health and how yoga can affect your mental health. Then we have seen that what are those special practices which are specially good for physical and mental health. And I hope you must have got something through this lecture. And I request you all that make yoga a part of your lifestyle, because yoga are not just physical movements, but yoga is a combination of all the things, physical things, mental things, emotional things, spiritual things. And it's very much capable to make you overall healthy. It's very much capable to make you physically healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, socially healthy, and spiritually healthy. So at last, I would only request you that make yoga a part of your lifestyle. And at last, I also once want to thank again the organizers, Dr. Zadav, who approached me for this lecture, and I could deliver something to you. I hope you will take the benefit of this lecture, the benefit of the videos that I have provided on my YouTube channel, and hope to see you again through this digital platform. Thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Ms. Artipal, for the great lecture. Now we have with us Dr. Dominic Savio Vegas for the next lecture. He is a chairman, Board of Studies, Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune, and presently he is working as Associate Director of Physical Education and Sports at Ahmednagar College, Ahmednagar. I welcome you, sir, for your lecture.
Hi friends, I am Dr. Savi Vegas from Ahmednagar College, affiliated to Savitribai Phule Pune University. I first of all would like to thank Tuljaram Chaturchand College, Baramati, for giving me an opportunity to speak. The college has taken a timely initiative of organizing an international online seminar on post-COVID era sports in new dimensions. My topic for today is safety measures in sports with regard to coronavirus. Friends, the coronavirus has affected every field, let it be sports, education, every field. Organization of sports has come to a standstill where there are no tournaments organized at any level. This academic year, we also have seen that so far no university games have been organized, no inter-school competitions have been organized. At the same time, we also find that the sponsors also have been at a loss. They also have been affected. They have been sponsoring many teams at various levels, and we also see the broadcasters, the various sports channels on TV, the various premier leagues that have taken place, they all are being affected. At the same time, friends, you also see that the players also are not only not participating, but they also cannot practice or play, which is much more difficult for them At the end, if you go to see, there is a lot of financial losses that has occurred to everyone of all fields. Post-COVID area, you go to see, is a new period where we need to have different approaches to see how we can get sports to normal conditions. There are changes in all aspects, and we need to see how we settle to these changes. Friends, COVID 19 has affected us, and it is only that we take proper safety that we can be away from getting infected from the virus. Safety comes first in whatever we do, irrespective to let it be sports or in our day-to-day life, anything. We need to make sure that safety comes first. As it is rightly said, that prevention is better than cure. We need to make sure that we take proper preventive measures to see that we are not affected, and at the same time make sure others are not affected. For example, in sports, friends, in cricket, if a batsman is playing without a helmet and is facing a fast bowler on a fiery wicket, you will see that there will be fear in his mind, and when fear comes into a player's mind, the player will not able to perform to his potential. So it is very important for us to make sure that we place safety first in everything that we do. We have to make sure that we are aware. When we make ourselves aware, we make others aware about what is COVID-19, what is coronavirus, what precautionary measures we need to take. That will help us to fight the battle against the coronavirus. It will help us to get sports to normal condition as soon as possible. We need to create a positive attitude in our minds and as well as others' minds to fight this battle. Awareness needs to be created in sportsmen. Before this, our approach was different, but the post-COVID era is going to be much more different. It is very important for sportsmen to make sure what type of equipments we are using, how we are sanitizing the equipments, what we are sharing with our friends and what we should not share with our friends. As administrators, you will also see that the administration needs to make sure the playing conditions are quite sanitized in a proper manner. The supporting staff also needs to take care of themselves. The spectators, those who are coming to watch the matches, they need to follow proper social distancing. General public also needs to know how to carry themselves when they are outside in public and what needs to be done. Precautions like, we need to take precautions like wearing mask. It is a human tendency to touch the face unknowingly many times throughout the day. We are to avoid the spread of the virus or avoid ourselves getting infected by the virus. It is very important for us to make sure that we do not touch our eyes, our nose and mouth. It is not only sanitizing the hands regularly but avoiding to touch our face regularly. Social distancing is one of the important aspects that we need to follow. We need to make sure that we are keeping distance among people, especially when we are at public places. What we eat is either medicine or poison. We need to take proper care of what we are eating. We need to eat things that will help us to boost our immune system, that in turn will help us to fight the virus. The lifestyle has changed because of the lockdown, because the schools and colleges have closed, the gymnasiums are closed, the playgrounds are closed, and we need to have a proper lifestyle. We need to have proper adequate sleep. At the same time, we need to also have proper exercise. Exercise we need to do to keep ourselves fit, to improve our immune system. We can do exercise at home like yoga, pranayam, free hand exercises, free weights exercises like push-ups, squattings, and there are many such stretching exercises also that can be done that can help us to maintain our fitness level and improve our immune system. It is also very important for us to practice good respiratory hygiene. Returning to active sports, we have to take care that we need to gradually improve our fitness level, because we have been on a long break, and to get back to our fitness level, we gradually need to condition our fitness level to avoid injuries. We also can to avoid social distancing at the playground, we can practice our individual skill. We can also practice initially in small groups, and also we need to make sure that we sanitize our equipments and the playing area regularly. We have spectators, also an important aspect of the game. Spectators make the ground lively and enhance the performance of the players. It is hard to imagine any type of sports event without spectators. But now we have experienced that there are many competitions that have started and they do not have any spectators. It is quite a different scenario and a different feeling for the players also. The organizers can create an artificial atmosphere with the help of various sound systems, so that the players can have that enthusiasm to give their best. Spectators initially will have minimum at the stadium to avoid social distancing, which may gradually also increase the number of spectators. Precautions at the playground that need to be taken is like screening of the players. Every day when the players come to the playground, they need to be screened. They need to be checked. For example, you check their temperature. You can also see if they are coughing, sneezing, or if they are showing any type of symptoms. It is very important for us to also make sure that we know the history of the player. The certain players may be affected by the virus, so we need to know their history. We also need to know from which area they have been coming from. For example, coming from a red zone or green zone or yellow zone. That will help us to also take precautionary measures. We also need to have regular checkups for the players, the supporting staff, the administrative staff also. We cannot leave anyone, or any one person can be the cause of the spread of the virus in the whole area. Team discussions before used to take place after the practice session, and now it is not feasible for us to have team discussions during this COVID period. We can have the team discussions with the help of the online meetings, so that we can give whatever instructions to the players with the help of the online meetings. We need to also know the various symptoms that the infected COVID patients have. For example, they cough, there is fever, there is tiredness, there is breathlessness, sore throat, and the important thing that we need to know also, that the symptoms of the virus is also changing on daily basis. So we cannot assume that these are the only symptoms. For example, sense of smell or sense of taste, these also are the new symptoms of the patients. Players travel for their matches during competitions from one place to another. Players need to make sure that they avoid crowded places. They also need to make sure that they sanitize themselves regularly to avoid getting infected. Unnecessarily socializing themselves will aggravate the problem. At hotel rooms, if possible, players having individual rooms for each of them will help to avoid the spread of the virus. Fear is an important part in the fight against coronavirus. Fear in the mind affects the immune system, and if the immune system is affected, it is going to not help in fighting the battle against the coronavirus. So, to avoid the fear, we need to have a positive attitude. We need to tell ourselves that we can do it, we can fight it out, and not only tell ourselves, but at the same time motivate others and make sure that others have a positive attitude. Change in rules also in certain games is very important. Change in rules, for example, games like cricket, for example, the fielding side players use the saliva to maintain the shine on the ball, which also people are started to think that it may be that may also spread of the virus. So there are various games, and they need to think if the rules need to be changed so that the virus spread can be stopped. Friends, we need to come together and promote a positive social attitude everywhere. We need to appreciate the corona warriors, the COVID warriors. It is very important for us. These are the people who are risking their lives and trying to go and treat patients. We need to respect the doctors, the nurses, the police, everyone involved in trying to fight this battle. In society, we find that there are many people, those who are in need of food and various helps. We need to come forward and try to also make sure that we help them in fighting their personal problems. We need to believe in ourselves and make others believe in themselves that we can win the battle against the coronavirus. We also need to know that the infection also, the medical bills also are very costly. And if any infected person is there, should make sure, or every individual should make sure that he insures himself so that he can able to treat himself in the best possible way. There should not be any type of financial problems that will avoid any individual to fight against the battle against corona. Players coming after a long break need to come back to normal conditions, make sure that they take care of their physical conditions and then come into active sports. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Savio Vegas. Your lecture opened our eyes. Friends, now we have Mr. Marco Gracia from Chile with us for the next lecture. He is licensed pro coach, National Football Federation of Chile. He has completed UEFA B level at Germany. He has completed level 1 course in goalkeeping. I welcome you, sir, for your lecture.
Hi everyone. First of all, thank you for this invitation. Thank you to TC College of Baramati. It's an honor for me to be here. I have great memories about India. I have worked in the past and traveled also many different states of India. So it's an honor for me to be here. My name is Marco Gracia. I'm from Santiago, Chile. So a little bit about my life. I have done a Bachelor in Business Administration and a Master in Business Administration in Lindenwood University. I study in US. I have been working for 8 years in retail and consultancy, basically in Chile, China, and India. And meanwhile, I was working. I decided to study soccer coach in the evenings. So I finished my 4 years course in the Chilean National Football Association. I got my pro license. Additionally, on that, I went to Scotland to get my C license, and I did my UEFA B in Germany this year. So about my coaching experience, I've been working first in academies, then in under 16 first division club, under 19 second division club, and currently I'm working at third division B club in under 18. I also played soccer in university level, so I've been involved in this kind of a sport and several other sports for more than 30 years. I'm also a sport advisor for several clubs, first, second, and third division in Chile and other countries in South America. I'm an investor of a first division club in Chile. My topic is about safety measure in sports. About an introduction first. I review different statements about countries, different sports, health ministry, how other sports are dealing with this terrible pandemic. So first, I decided to put some information about the health ministry of Chile, who announced on March 20 the suspension of any type of professional sport events and amateur sport events. So since that, we have been locked down for more than 3 months and a half. So we need to have an understanding of the seriousness of the current situation, both in health, social, and economic terms. Thinking about the common good and seeking to take care of everyone's health despite the existing uncertainty due to absence of defined deadline in the evolution of this pandemic, is necessary to organize ourselves as a society for a progressive return to normality and to resume of our activity in the safest way. So, in terms of objective, we have some general and a specific. General objective will be to ensure the progressive reestablishment of a sport activity within a security framework for the virus. And we can see some examples of German Bundesliga, rugby in New Zealand, how sport is dealing also in Australia. Some countries that they're handling much better than other countries that were suffering with the first, second, and maybe we have several waves. So some specific objective is to contribute to protect as fundamental interest the health of all those involved in the discipline directly or indirectly, from the players to the public. We need to take care of our players, medical staff, coaching staff, TV, audience, security, everyone who is involved in the industry. Okay, we need to support in medical and sport aspect the decision making of the authority of our activity and their training and professional level, both female and male, propose the right time and security condition to return to training. So it must be progressively, right? And we need to care about different age, different sports, different conditions, different tournament, everything. It's involved everything, okay? So then we need to take care of the health of the player in the process of returning to training to recover the sport from progressively and reduce the possibility of medical or traumatic pathology. In this phase and in the subsequent competition, we're seeing that there's more injury right now because some players, they haven't been practicing for 90 days and they lost their conditioning. So we're seeing some increase of some injuries. Promote and respect recommendation of the World Health Organization and the respective local health authority. That's very important. So some permanent measures athletes are considered as a role leader in the community. We see, for example, the NBA with LeBron James, Lewis Hamilton in the Formula One. In soccer, we have Sunil Chhetri in India, or Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, tennis players, rugby, cricket. So these role leaders are very important for the community. If they do positive things and they show us how they take care, like to be safe at home, to do all these protocol things that we're gonna review in the general measures. That's something positive that the community can see, that if my role leader, my team, my favorite player is doing this, we might follow those kind of things. So as a general measure, we need to wash our hands frequently for at least 30 seconds with soap and water. This is very important. And the use of alcohol is a complementary. We need to avoid putting our hands in all type of in our face, like eyes, mouth, nose, hair, everything. We need to maintain a minimum physical distance with other people. Some countries says 1 meter, 1.5 meters, 2 meters. If possible, you can have more meter of distance with anyone. That's better for the daily activities. In terms of respiratory hygiene, in case of cough or sneeze, do it in the forearm or in a disposable handkerchief. Later, eliminating, throw that in the garbage can, and always wash your hands. Please clean all type of surfaces, particularly those with high use, since the virus has a variable survival time on them. Do not share with third-party food or infusion. It's very common, the tea and coffee in Asia, for example. Any water or liquids in South America is very common to share the mate or the terere. Not having direct physical contact with people outside the family group who live in the same house. In South America and Europe, it's very common to hug or kiss when you say hi to someone. So please, those kind of things, don't do it now, and you will reduce the level to get infected with this pandemic. Always use of the mask. Return of training protocol. It's important to highlight that this stage is essential since the return to training and to subsequent return to competition will depend on its proper planning and timing. So we have some evaluation of national, region, and community epidemiological conditions for safe return to activity. Every country is dealing with different protocol, but you have some structure, and obviously we need to imitate some countries, region, and community that they are dealing much better than others. So vaccination against other type of viruses as influenza, any flu, is much better for our body to have a stronger way to fight the different viruses, and also to avoid to have many viruses together with this COVID-19 in our body. This is for players, coaching, medical staff, other members of the club, anyone who is involved in the industry. We need to analyze their activities, considering non-essential, that restart the operation and receive this information and opinion of the local health authority. We need to review the protocol developed in other sport leagues or organization, analyzing their result and impact on sports and community. Also, it's very important the season, the temperature, for example. Also, we need to support the organization, the National Association and management of the league. We need to follow about the health minister, the health authority, the National Association, the management of the leagues in terms of logistics, sanitary equipment for the acquisition of supplies such as alcohol, health for the teams. They have to wear masks. We need to have disposable gloves in the training center and also in any competition center. Cleaning materials according to sanitary recommendation. Some digital thermometers also very important because we can control temperature, and the sanitation tunnels. Some specific measure according to group to apply accordingly to stage of returning to training. We're going to measure players, coaches, some medical staff and training center, and also in the competition centers, stadiums. Some recommendation that we're going to put in this presentation, also some return phases and the different stages during the training process. So, recommendation in training period. Training must be carried out in stage in open sport field, open sport facilities, with greater restriction in the gym depending on the size and equipment. with the same sanitary measure as in the dressing room and medical unit, and with mandatory cleaning after use by each athlete. When resuming the activity, the psychological factor is very important. So it might be advisable for the first training session to be with your voluntary assistant with evaluation by a specialist to avoid concern and fear of any of the players that affect the development of the activity. The training must be progressive, individual, couple, groups, collective, which will allow greater control of the activity and acquisition of habits by everyone in the safest condition. Some progressive phases of the return to training. This is what some countries are doing, some federations, some sports. They have a structure with different progressive phase, and they call usually phase 1 as an individual training, maximum 4 plays per session, minimum of 30 minutes between session of the difference, right? Phase 2 will start when the health authority authorize in and a date as is defined for the return to competition in phase 3, and this probably is going to be around 3 weeks previous the competition phase. Usually in this phase they do some group training, collective and tactical training. Phase 3, there's going to be some friendly matches without spectators. So for example, the NBA is planning to move everyone to Orlando to do the restart of the basketball tournaments. So there were 30 teams and they're going to move just 24, and then they will have 16 teams for the playoff, and they're going to use one location, one in Orlando in Disney. Tennis and the ATP and the Women Tennis Association, the WTA, are planning to restart at the beginning of August, and they're planning to do all the Grand Slam remaining, which is going to be US Open, Wimbledon, and Roland Garros. In terms of soccer, I have the example number 1 is for a professional team. The last 2 weeks I've been in a lot of presentation in radio, also for soccer professional clubs, mostly in Bolivia. I have done also for Paraguay and Ecuador. So I developed a plan which is about 3 phases. I call phase 0, which the physical trainer has to provide some exercise routine to the player, and the team has to monitor their performance. They have to take care about weight control. The club has to give to the players some nutrition guidelines, and also they have to take care about the sleeping time of the players. They have to provide some psychological session with a sports psychologist, and that he will ask, for example, how they're dealing with the pandemic, how's your family, how do you feel to be at home, do you feel more happy, sad, do you have anger, those kind of things. So he will develop some presentation and the player will feel more comfortable. Also some tactical sessions about what was going on during the 3 months that the competition was performing. They want to see also the game model of the coach, and some game session also, because we need to have some leadership. We need to work as a team. Okay, then the phase 1. Once, for example, in Bolivia, they haven't started with this phase 1. But some other countries, like Paraguay, is working on this. So phase 1, you have some individual session, maximum 4 players per session. So for example, you are going to bring those players around 8, then 8:40, then 9:20, then at 10. And all the morning you will have all the players segregated by 4 individuals, open space. different schedules. For example, so one half you're gonna have two players, and you're gonna split the field in four, and they're gonna run, they're gonna do some jogging, they're gonna do some stretching, okay, and also during that week. They will have some Zoom meetings where the coach will give some tactical session about the game model, about the four moments of the sports. In this case, it's going to be soccer. So how the team has to deal when they have the ball, when they don't have the ball, the transitions, the organization for offensive and defense. Okay. So phase two is going to be more group and collective training session. They're going to work around in the same open space. Then we're gonna have all the players. There's gonna continue with the tactical session, and the phase three is gonna be friendly matches. Also the game plan, how they're gonna plan the next match when the season restart. So phase two and phase three are not yet in Paraguay, neither in Ecuador. But so far we have in Bolivia phase 0 and in Paraguay phase 1. Another example is about a youth team. This is what I'm doing with my team. So in phase 0, we have developed the calendar. We have about 26 weeks left in this year. So we do some meetings every Monday and Friday. You have to imagine that these kids are usually 16, 17 years old. They're in high school and some other and some institute. So every Monday we have meetings. If anyone has problem with the timing, they get record also, and we have then one meeting. But during the morning we do some psychological questions. So we have there about the set that I mentioned before, that how is your family, how do you feel, how is just high school going, how's your family, are they working at home, those kind of things. Is anyone related with COVID? So we worry about their mental thing, right? So the physical trainer will provide the exercise routine. So we have a plan that the players every Monday to Saturday, they will do a training session that I will show you later. Then we will deliver some match to watch. Now we have all the European leagues. So, for example, last week we said to them, like, guys need to watch Manchester City against Chelsea, Real Madrid against Mallorca. Please focus on your position players, okay? So for example, if you're a goalkeeper, please focus in Thibaut de Courtois, the Belgian goalkeeper. Then they have to prepare some videos about the training session, and they usually send us through a WhatsApp group that we have. And on Friday, we have a tactical review about our game model. We talk about the match analysis. So we ask them player, what do you see about the match? Did you like it or not? From the tactical area, do you think the lines were good? What did this coach did about your position? Okay, your player, your favorite player, for example. What was his mistake? What was any problem that he had in the match? So they get involved. That's what we want. Then we do the skill competition. So as I said, they prepare some video, and also on Friday we do some. For example, we give them, for example, a T-shirt or something whenever someone did something great. So usually we have one or two players that will get something because they did something great during the session. It's a way to incentivize that, and also we have some sponsor that they are very happy to participate in this kind of things, and also our supporter of the club, we will see the video. Yeah. So phase 1 we haven't started yet. and then obviously we have phase 2 and 3. So the exercise routine that I mentioned, we said to them, now we're winter, but it's important always the hydration before, during, and after the training session. We need water also. Now they have to rest between 20 to 40 seconds per exercise. We don't want to have any injury. For example, there was the exercise routine of last week. What they need for materials, they need a coordination ladder. If you don't have it, you can draw it, or you can do it something with in your floor. Okay, just a soccer ball and mat. If they don't have a space, we try to adapt any condition, because some of the people live in apartments. So here the left, you have on Monday what they have to do. Usually some skipping, jumps, and in this coordination ladder. Exercise of Tuesdays in the right with a mat. So for example, some abs, they will do it. It's more like stretching stuff, bodybuilding. On Wednesday, we're gonna do some neuroscience exercise. We need just 10 meters. How to run to any of the, you can move left side, right side, go back, go further. So we're gonna do this kind of things. Also jump. On Thursday, we're gonna do something with the ball. So we're gonna jump. We're gonna use the ball also. If you can do some passes to the wall, that's great. And Friday we have different stuff and also the challenge. Okay. So this was my presentation. Are my contact details. As I said, Coach Marco Gracia from Santiago, Chile. This is my email, lat_8@hotmail.com. This is my cell phone, 56 plus 56 999 44 2080. And you can follow me on Instagram, lat8.football.manager. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to contact me, and I'm willing to help you guys. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Gracia, for your great lecture. Thank you. Friends, with this lecture, we come to an end of the day 1. Join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the day 2. Till then, take care and stay safe.